Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and the video I got for you today is the full Ultimate Moon Solo Easter Egg Guide. Now, from the beginning, let me make this very clear. This Moon Easter Egg is either can be done on solo or can be done on 4-player. It doesn't really matter as long as one of you is Richtofen, but this strategy guide is built for solo players, but the steps are exactly the same. So if you want to do it with a buddy or a couple other friends, that's absolutely fine, and the steps are going to work for you the exact same way. Just going to let you guys know right now, especially as a solo player, this Easter egg is very RNG heavy, and I ended up burning through so much of my gobblegum. I lost over 20 fire cells, so it did cost me quite a bit of gobblegum in time to create this guide and get this gameplay. So if you guys could do me a huge favor and do drop a like on this, it'd be very, very much appreciated. We're going to go for 300 likes on this video, and that'd be awesome. And just want to mention before we get into this, if you're playing by yourself, just so you know, this is a very luck-based Easter egg, and either you're going to get lucky and get this done, or you're going to get extremely unlucky, and it's going to be very difficult for you. But assuming you want to go through this by yourself or with other people, it's definitely going to be easier to play with co-op. But if you do want to get done by yourself, it is possible, and I'll show you guys how to do it right now. So without too much talking, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the guide. Now, there really are no prerequisites to setting up this Easter egg like there are for some other maps. The only thing I'm going to recommend to you guys are 2 gobblegum that are going to help you out. Obviously, you know, you're perkaholic and you're shopping free. Whatever you feel like you personally need to make this easier on yourself, definitely go ahead and do it. But there's 2 in particular that I'm going to recommend that's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, number 1 is going to be the fire sale gobblegum, and I ended up losing all of mine on this game. So put on fire sales if you do have them, and also run the anywhere but here gobblegum, and this will come in handy just in case you happen to get trapped behind the excavators, which is a problem. So immediately spawning into the game, if you're playing by yourself, you will always be Richtofen. I've played countless games, and I've been Richtofen every single time. You'll notice that you have the golden rod in your inventory as well if you are Richtofen. So as long as one of your players is that character, then you are good to go to move on with this step. So setting up the game, if you have them, this is when I would hit for your fire souls just to, you know, kind of keep them on your person. But what you want to do is make sure you get at least the power turned on. And once the power's on, you can head over to these computers that are right under the spawn. You can see them flashing, and then there's going to be a certain combination that you need to play, Samantha says. So it's kind of like the step on Horizon Drop, but this is the original one. So it's going to flash a series of 4 colors, and in order from left to right, it's always going to be red, green, blue, yellow. So basically, you need to play, Samantha says, just for a quick 1 round, and it only takes, I think, 6 sequences in total to complete this step. But once you have it all done, the computers will go ahead and then they will flash all green. Then you'll know that you've done that step correctly. You've successfully played the game of Samantha Says, and it's all out of the way. You can get that done pretty early on, literally as soon as you turn on the power. This is when I recommend you use your fire cells that you probably should have gotten by this point. And once you have these, you're going to want to hit for a couple specific things out of the mystery box that are absolutely required for this Easter egg. Now, the number 1 thing you're going to need are the zap guns, or the dual-wield laser pistols that you can get from the mystery box. These are a step that's going to be required a little bit later on. So definitely get the zap guns out of the mystery box and hold on to them. And you're also going to need a special piece of equipment, and these are going to be the Gersh devices. So I would say keep hitting the mystery box as much as possible during this time if you have fire cells and if you can, and do this early. You know, you want to get your Gersh devices and your zap guns. Those are the 2 things that are absolutely necessary for this step right now. But it could take you 1 box hit, it could take you 1,000 box hits. You never really know, and that's why I recommend you have as many fire cells as you possibly can have for this, because it's very, very RNG heavy. But once you have your Gersh devices and your zap guns, you're good to go with the next step. What you want to do now, you're going to be looking for a pipe that's in the laboratory that you're going to put in your inventory, and it looks just like this when you pick it up. So you're going to be looking around this room, and it's going to be upstairs, and it also could be outside. There's a lot of locations. So on the bottom floor, it can be in every single corner. In my game over here, I'm going to show you it's in this corner sitting over by this blue post. There's one, it can be on the table that's over to the right of it. Pretty much it can be on any side of the wall and on any corner in these rooms. Like there's this construction table right here it can be laying on, and there's a lot of different locations that it can possibly be in. Going upstairs from that room, there's definitely a possible location that's just laying on this table right by all the blood, and there's another location that's over in the corner sitting by the Deadshot Dagger machine. It's usually just laying on the ground, and if you kind of just walk by there and hold square, you should pick it up. There's so many locations, and if you cannot find it, I recommend you just kind of scale the entire room. Just walk around the edge of the wall holding square, and eventually will pick it up. Now, there's also a very interesting location that you guys need to check out. This one's going to be actually outside the laboratory itself, and it's going to be in a pile of construction sitting on like a jackhammer kind of over here. I've had this location so many freaking times, it's annoying. So make sure you do check this one if you cannot find it anywhere inside the laboratory. Then once you pick that up, then I want you to go and look for a hacking device that's going to be in the same room. Now, the hacker can be pretty much anywhere that's on these yellow cards. I just picked it up on that bookshelf. There's a bunch of different locations on each floor, but they will always be on these yellow cards, so look out for those. But once you pick up the hacker, come over to this button here, hack that, and then you're going to see 4 green panels, or 4 green kind of data computers that you need to hack. And as you can see, you only have about a minute to do that, so you need to make this very, very quick. But go up to each one and hack them, and they'll have the green light above them. If they do not have it, there's other computers that are not lit up, then you cannot hack those ones, but you need to get 4 within a minute, and they can be on either floor. There's going to be 3 different floors that it could possibly be on. I just got 2 on the bottom one. If you don't see in the middle, then kind of go up top, and then they should be up here. But you only, like I said, have a very, very limited amount of time, and I do recommend you save at least maybe just 1 crawler, or just kind of get it down to control, because if you're getting swarmed by zombies, this step is pretty much impossible to do. So once you have hacked that final one, you will hear a quote saying that the data files have been accessed. Then you can come over to the buttons, and you need to hit all 4 of them very, very quickly, or else they will not shut. So once you press all the buttons, they should close right there, and then you're good to go. So after this point, when you've done the Samantha says and you've done the hacking the data files, this is where it becomes up to RNG. So basically, you just need to keep passing rounds until you hear over the intercom that Excavator Pi will decompress Tunnel 6. You need to be listening for Excavator Pi specifically. And once you hear that, you need to make sure that you get your hacking device ready. It will go back in the laboratory at one of the spawns, but make sure you know where it is for when you need it. It'll kind of just be laying there for you, so you can pick it up whenever. But once Excavator Pi is going, or once you get the warning signs, you need to let it breach the tunnel. You don't want to hack it before it goes in. You actually do need to let it cut through, because this will release a focusing stone, and that's what we need to do. So once your Excavator Pi going, go ahead and grab your hacker, and then you need to go back over to the spawn before, it kind of blocks off your path, or just find another way to get there. You go through tunnel 11, kind of whatever works for you. You need to make sure by any means necessary they make it back to spawn before the thing breaches. So I recommend that maybe just hang out in the spawn, and make sure you do not break the airlock within the spawn, because this is very important. This is where you need to do a lot of hacking. So don't use any explosives in the spawn room. Try not to break the windows as much as you possibly can. And just kind of by all means, just as a general thing, I recommend you stay out of that room, just so you do not run the risk of breaking any windows. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm just hanging out with my hacker, getting it down to the last zombie, and you can see the excavator is going rather slow, but I'm just kind of waiting for him to breach really quickly. As you can see in this gameplay, I got my Pi Excavator come through at round 13, which honestly isn't that bad, but I've had the Pi Excavator sometimes come around at round 4, but I've also had it come around at round 34. So this is where I'm telling you guys, it's extremely luck based, and I would say if you're playing by yourself and the Pi Excavator doesn't come by round 20, you should probably just restart, because at that point it's really just a lost cause, and you're better off just go ahead and doing a new game. Hopefully you get more lucky. So right now you can see the Pi Excavator is now cutting through, and I'm popping my in plain sight, and then you can go over to this panel and hack it as soon as it does cut and break the airlock within that. So once that device is hacked, you can go ahead and grab your PES again. It will put away your hacker back somewhere in the laboratory, and then this will release your focusing stone. So if at this point you're lucky enough to get your wave guns, then congratulations, you can do this entire step right now. But if you're like me and you don't have the wave guns just yet, don't worry, you can do half of this step. But right now, after the Pi Excavator cuts through, you're going to see the focusing stone just kind of floating right here, and you want to knife it, and it's going to take a path. So basically, it's going to bounce around the room to all these different locations, and don't worry, it's going to be on like a set thing. You don't have to worry about losing it, as long as you know every time where it's going to land. But it's just going to bounce around the room, kind of right here in low gravity. It's going to land over here on the floor, but you just want to keep following it and knifing it or shooting it to move it on to the it's going towards the MPD, but basically you have to go around the entirety of the map before it even gets around to it, which is kind of annoying because there's a door right behind it that could have just gone through, but that's a little bit too easy for an Easter egg. But here you go. So it's going to go into this corner right here, and then once you bounce it over to the wall, this is where you need the zap guns. Like, this is literally required, so you can't use a ray gun, you can't use anything else. It's going to fly up, and then it's going to go on top of that satellite right there, and then this is at the point where you need the wave guns, or else you cannot move on. Once you do obtain the zap guns, however, you can pull them out and then make them into one gun right here, shoot the focusing stone right off the satellite, and it's going to continue its path and then fly over towards the MPD. This one, it's going to go through tunnel 11. Now, this room is a little bit dark, so I'm going to make sure I show you all the gameplay, because it is a little bit easy to lose in this room. If you're doing this for the first time, you don't really know where it lands or whatever, it's very easy to kind of get it lost within this room. So it's going to be right over here up against the wall. I almost didn't see it. It's on the pipes. It blends in completely perfectly, so you need to make sure that you are looking out for that. Then it's going to go over to this door here, and then this is probably the hardest location it's going to go into, and I recommend you probably shoot with maybe a shotgun or some kind of explosive. Really, I just sprayed into that dark corner with a ray gun, and it knocks it loose, and then it goes on to the next one. But, you know, grenades work pretty much anything. You just need to put some sort of damage back there. You could throw wood as wine if you really wanted to. It'll get it done, and then it's going to go over into this dark corner over here, and then you need to make sure that you can kind of knock it out from this side now. You're almost done following this thing. Go all the way through the power room, right where the MPD is, and it's going to rest itself in its location that's right in front, kind of by like right above the vril device, or like where the rod is going to be. So it's going to float over here, and then that's when you know you have activated the step. So what you need to do now is a tube is going to rise from the right here, and you need to collect souls in this. You need 25 in total for this thing to completely fill up. And you need to make sure the zombies are in a relatively close position to completely fill up this tube. Once you've successfully done that, when the tube is all filled up, you're going to hit a little power switch that's right to the right of it. Just flip that, and then the MPD is going to open up, and then it's going to reveal Samantha inside the MPD. You're going to get a 90-second death machine, and at this point you've completed half of the Easter egg, and then you're going to get a trophy. You're going to get your cryogenic slumber party, and this is when you know that you can move on, and you're pretty much done with the bulk of this Easter egg. But now this is where you need to get lucky with the mystery box. Now, if you or one of your players has Gersh devices, then you can move on with the next step. You're going to want to go back to Area 51, and you need to gather 2 plates that are outside of the map with the Gersh devices. So throw a grenade at this wall over here. You can use a wood as one, or you can use a frag. You can see these things will kind of knock over right there, the plates that I just aimed at. Make sure that they are knocked over, kind of like I have in this gameplay. And then what you can do is chuck a Gersh device right out there, and it should suck up the plates. And you know you've done the step correctly when the plates go up into the portal, and then they end up right on the pad here, and it just kind of drops there. So once you teleport back to Earth, it will put them kind of in the spawn room where you are. You'll know you've done this step right when you see the 2 plates kind of laying right by the quick revive machine, and then it can be all done from there. So at this point, you're going to want to go for more fire sales, and if you or one of your players has the QEDs or the quantum entanglement devices, then you can move on with the next step. But in my solo game, it took me a long time to get the QEDs, so you're going to see quite of a round jump here. So keep hitting the mystery box and passing rounds, or until you or one of your players ends up with the piece of equipment, the special grenade that you can see in the mystery box, and this is exactly what you're looking for. It's like a little blue kind of tactical grenade, but it's the QED, the quantum entanglement device. So once you have the QEDs, you should have your plates still at spawn. Then you can go ahead and move on with the next step. Take your QEDs and throw them in a way that they bounce into the plates that are over at spawn, and the plate should teleport over to the computer here on the other side. And this is the pipe that you picked up earlier. You need to place it kind of in between the computer and then the vril device right here. So once that is placed down, then Richtofen, or if it's just you, then you need to interact with this computer for a long time, or if it's somebody else in your game, just have Richtofen stand in front of the computer and interact with the screen for a good while. And I promise you're going to be there for a while, because there's a lot of audio quotes to go through, and it just takes a good minute. So either have a crawler if it's just you, and just kind of walk around the computer, but be patient with this. Or if you're playing a 2-player game, have your buddy hold the zombie, but whoever's Richtofen, just kind of be in front of the computer for a long while until you can see the screen turn green right here, and then it should charge up the vril device that you can go ahead and pick up. And then once you've done that, head back over to the MPD, and you're going to see all 4 tubes are now raised out of the device, and you need to fill up souls in each single one. So it's 25 for each single one, so that's 100 zombies in total that you need to kill. And you need to make sure that they're close enough in proximity so that the souls do collect into those tubes. And then once you know, all 4 have been done, it'll automatically kind of, you know, indicate that you have completed it. The tubes will go down into the device, and then you'll begin switching souls with Samantha. This step is really cool because a lot of things changes, and you get so many cool audio quotes, it's unbelievable. And at this point, I think you do have perma perks as well. So if you take it down, if you're playing by yourself, the only thing you're going to lose is your quick revive. So if you get another perk holic or whatever, you can just go ahead and restore that. But once you have done that, then you're going to get a quote from Maxis as well. You'll notice that the zombies' eyes are also going to turn blue, and I swear to you, the zombies get more aggressive when Richtofen takes control. I don't know if it's just like a placebo effect or whatever, but the zombies seem like they hit you so much faster than when Samantha was in control, and so just be kind of careful about that. Then once you've done that, once you got your Maxis quote, go ahead and put the vril device inside of the little MPD in the front here, right under the focusing stone, and then you can go ahead and move on to your next step, which you're going to need to roll the box for QEDs once again. If you still have them from the previous step, great. And if one of your teammates has it, even better. But if you don't have it, then you need to keep hitting the mystery box until you do, because you're going to need them in a little bit. But once you have, you know, your QDs, then you'll be just fine to go on with the next step. But what you want to do is go back over towards spawn and play this Samantha Says game once again. But this time, it's going to be a lot harder. There's going to be 3 sequences you have to do. You have to do all 3 phases for the rockets. And these are extended sequences. So what I recommend you do is write them down to help you out, because these ones are a little bit tougher than the ones you did at first. And at the same time, try to keep that zombie under control, because at least for me in my solo game anyway, he did end up causing a lot of problems. You'll get a quote from Maxis after you completed all 3 phases, and then what you want to do is take your QD, come over to the MPD, and throw it in a way to where it bounces, and it hits the focusing stone with the blast. The thing will go away, and then you'll get another quote from Maxis, but the focusing stone is now going to transport over to exactly where the computer was for the Samantha step, and at this point is where it can be a little bit tricky, especially for the solo player, if you do not have any Gersh devices, because the last thing you need to do is take a Gersh device and throw it at the focusing stone that is right outside the computers, and that is going to launch the rockets. But in this gameplay, it took me absolutely forever to get Gersh devices. I burned every single fire cell gobblegum that I had, and I'm telling you guys, it is so luck based, it's not even funny. And if you have a hard time, then I recommend you bring in a buddy who has more fire cells or something like that. I honestly burned through everything that I had, all my resources, and I still couldn't even get Gersh devices to finish out this game. So I had to finish it on a 2-player game, as you can see right here. I bought my buddy Short Stack to help me, and now this last step, he throws his Gersh device at that stone. It'll sucked up into the Gersh device, and then it'll be teleported over to Maxis to where now he can launch the rockets, and then this is where you have completed it, and all you have left to do now is watch the show. But either way, no matter how many players you have, as long as you have a Gersh device at that final step, all you need to do is throw it at it, and then you can kind of just finish things up right here. So right now, the rockets are going to launch, and zombies will be spawning in, just so you know, during this step. I believe it might be an infinite wave, I'm not entirely sure, but they kept spawning on us pretty heavy. I was trying to get good gameplay of the rockets and be able to show you guys what exactly does happen when you complete this Easter egg. And there's actually no trophy for this, which is weird. You know, usually you get the Big Bang Theory on the old gen, but unfortunately on this one, there actually is no trophy for doing this blowing up the Earth Easter egg. The only trophy that you get from Moon is the cryogenic slumber party, but if you made it this far in the Easter egg, then that is very, very long gone. But right now, as you can see, the rockets are heading towards Earth, and we are going to make transit. But guys, once the Earth blows up, that's pretty much going to do it. That's the entirety of the Easter egg, and you have officially completed Moon. So I hope this tutorial helped, guys. I hope this kind of did make it easier on you. Like I said, this can be done either 1 player or 4 player. It doesn't really matter. This was set up for a solo player and kind of strategized towards that kind of play style. But as you can see, I needed somebody to help me with this last step, because for the life of me, I could not get those Gersh devices, and it cost me so much gobblegum. And let's just say I went through great pains to bring you this gameplay. But as you can see, the Earth explodes. It looks absolutely beautiful. You can't go back to Area 51. It still looks the same, and it looks honestly gorgeous. So anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy this guide. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you guys are brand new. And other than that, guys, I will see you all on the next video. Peace out.